Hey, hello guys. It's good to touch base again. I wanted to talk about budgeting. I believe that a budget is a very important component for the for your journey to financial independence and creation of wealth. If you do not have a budget, there's a very high chance that you're going to burn everything that you create. And I think a lot of people, especially here in Africa, we don't understand how important it is to fully understand how your money flow works. So, for example, many of us, we don't even know what our income is, whether it's monthly, whether it's weekly. We don't even know the frequency, we don't know the amount. And then, of course, when it comes to expenses, we just spend as we go. No record of anything, we don't keep track, and it's really very scary to think about it. And almost all the time when I've met people who have come to me and said, oh, I made a lot of money, or I had so amount of money and now I can't even tell where it's gone to. I look around my life, I don't find where all the money has gone to. And most of the time when I ask them, where can you show me your expenses for the last few months? Most of the time they're like, I didn't keep any record. And when I ask, okay, what's your budget? How do you cap your spending? They say, oh, I don't have. I just try not to spend more than so amount. And most of the time, these responses are recorded from different people in the same situation, having a lot of money and not having record for how it's gone. Some are salary earners earning a lot of money. Some are traders, making a lot of money from turnover and all of that. And you begin to wonder why there's the recurring decimal of people having a lot of money pass through their hands and still not be able to account for it. And the underlying problem has always been the absence of a budget, of a working budget. Now, what is a budget? A budget, most of the time, is a record or a document that dictates how your money flows, all your income and all your expenses. How does it flow? How often do you have income? How often do you make money? How often do you get, cash gifts, or, could be from anywhere? And, your expenses, of course, as long as you are alive, you must spend money. And that means every day. So every single day you have to make expenses. Now, if you're not keeping a record of that, it means that there's a high chance that your expense might be more than your income, which means you're burning more than you're creating. And if that is the case, my daughter recently in a conversation, when I asked her what happens when somebody is spending more than they're earning, she said to me that the person is going to be poor. And for an 8-year-old, that is amazing. It just shows how much she's learned over time. And I'm amazed that most adults don't even pay attention to that. Many of us, we're spending far more than we are making. You're spending more, you're making 100K, you're spending almost 150, 200K every month, and you're wondering why you're struggling. Of course, the devil is in the details. If you look at the numbers, if you're spending 200,000 and you're earning only 100,000, it means every month you're canceling out your next income, right? So it means that every month you are cutting out your next supply. So if you've spent this month and next month's income, how do you expect that you're going to live in the future? and that's why it's so important to pay attention to budgeting, which means you need to sit down and take stock of everything. What incomes do you have? What frequency? How often do they come in? What expenses do you have? How often do you make them? Which ones are essential? Which ones can you do without? Which ones are periodical? Which ones are cyclical? You need to know all those things. It helps you to then know how to plan. So for example, if I know that my income is so much, then I need to peg my expenses to be within that framework. Because if I'm spending more than I'm earning, I'm going to continue to struggle. And many of us, we even augment with loans. We take loans from friends, from family, from loan apps, and they're calling you in the middle of the night, calling your siblings, calling your family, calling your friends. Some, I think these days, they're even going extreme. Some, I heard of a story of somebody who is owing 14K, and they put his picture online and said he raped a 5-year-old. You can imagine that. You can imagine people ready to destroy your reputation for something as small as a small loan that you refuse to pay back. And you can imagine how damaging that can be for other things you're aiming for in life. And that's why you need to take this serious. Some will say, oh, the country is hard, but somehow you are spending more than you should be spending, even as the country is hard. So it means that you can do better if you have a full picture of what is going on, and you can manage your money better. It can help you have plans as well. So for example, for somebody who knows that he needs a 50,000 naira course to better his position at work, and his income is only maybe 100K, and he spends maybe about 80K. It means that in 5 months, he can save 20K every month, and in 5 months, he'll be able to do that course and make a step forward. Now, most of us don't look at it in these terms, because it's important to understand what you're missing by not controlling your expenses. So it is very important to note that you need to be fully aware of what your expenses are, because a lot of us even burn a lot of money on necessary things. Some of us, we have things that we like to take occasionally. Like some of us, we like shawarma, some of us, we like pizza, some of us, we like biscuit and soft drink, and so many other things that some of us is VSOP at the club. Which ones are your own problem, but the problem is the more you expose yourself to those things, the more you reduce your chances of investing into yourself or into things that could better your lot, right? And it is strange enough that we don't get taught many of these things in school, and that's why, to a large extent, poverty has become like a norm in Africa, and they say we are the consumer continent, where we just consume and consume and consume, and most of the time it's just out of ignorance, not necessarily because we don't have sense, but it's just because we are ignorant of many things, and that has put us on the pedestal to repeating the mistakes of the past, right, of the past generation. So it's very important for us to pay attention to this. Sit down, take a stock of all your income and all your expenses in the last few months. Look at what is going on now and use it as a way to project for what you need to adjust and make changes to. And I can assure you, if you do that faithfully, within the next few months, you're going to see a turnaround in the flow of things in your financial well-being. So I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening.